Yo, 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 yo. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. This is your boy Jay, and you are listening to them Splatter Talk Boys. Hit that intro.
Would you lead me to my doom? Yeah.
Hold on. We them boys.
Boy, I tell you, every time I hear that motherfucker, oh God, I just started the show out with a motherfucker. Oh no. Damn it. I don't think we're gonna get, hey, why am I worried about monetization? We ain't getting money for this shit anyway. We do it out of the goodness. We do it out of the goodness of our heart, or the evil of our heart. Nah, what's going on? You're listening to them Splatter Talk Boys. I am your host, Jay, for the day. And first and foremost, I kind of want to start this off by including our subscribers, including our people who listen. So I kind of want to ask a question, okay? And I put this question up on our YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I suggest you go youtube.com/Splatter Talk Cinema reviews. Yeah. So the question that I got is, are you all about DVDs and Blu-rays? Are you a streamer? Or a little bit of both? What's your preference? All right. So just let me know your preference in the comment section below, and we can get to know each other a little bit. So in today's episode, I want to touch a touchy subject. And in today's episode, I'm going to ask the question, are we horror movie hypocrites? Do we set a standard for some horror films while ignoring those same standards in another horror franchise? While something is dope as hell in one movie, that same thing can make another movie suck. So, with that being said, I'm gonna talk to you about a little story, how I came up with this whole concept. After watching Scream 6 the other day, I started thinking to myself like, shit, are we horror movie hypocrites? Don't get it twisted, I don't like to think of myself, and I don't like to think of you guys as such. I don't think any of us are hypocrites, but are we? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to be comparing 3 different horror movies in which, by the end of this video, I'm going to show you that maybe we are, when it comes to horror, no less. I don't mean in real life. All I am talking about is our take on horror movies. First and foremost, I'm going to introduce you to the movies that I'll be using in my comparison. Movie number 1, Friday the 13th, Part 5. A New Beginning. Number 2, Halloween Ends. Number 3, Scream 6, or the Scream franchise as a whole, and due to Scream still being in theaters some places, spoiler warning. Might be thinking to yourself how these 3 movies prove that you may be a horror movie hypocrite. So let's go over the plot of Friday the 13th 5, A New Beginning. Friday the 13th 5 is a sequel to Friday the 13th 4, the final chapter. We follow a teen, Tommy Jarvis, to Pinehurst Youth Development Center, where he continues to have visions of Jason Voorhees. Meanwhile, the center is struck with tragedy when one of the teens brutally fucking axes another resident. Suddenly, Jason comes back to wreak havoc on the Youth Development Center. In the finale, we catch up with Pam and Reggie, being chased into the barn by Jason. After Jason searches the place, he goes to check a tool closet, and out pops Pam wielding a chainsaw. After the chainsaw runs out of gas and all shit seems hopeless, Tommy Jarvis returns like Stone Cold Steve Austin, boy. This allows Pam and Reggie to climb to the 2nd floor of the barn. Tommy gets sliced in the chest by Jason. I don't know what Tommy is doing, but wham! He gets slashed in the chest, he falls to the ground. In return, Tommy stabs Jason in the thigh, giving him time to join Pam and Reggie on the 2nd floor of the barn. Jason's not far behind though. He gets to the 2nd floor and spots Reggie. From behind, Pam hits him with an axe handle, gaining his attention. He knocks it out of her hand, of course. Hypocrites. When all seems hopeless, Reggie jumps from the top fucking rope, sending Jason over the edge of the barn. Or so we thought. As Pam and Reggie go to investigate, Jason comes back, grabbing Reggie. Jason continues to pull Reggie until Tommy comes to chop Jason's hand off with a machete. That sent Jason flying down to his death on the spikes below. Then the three survivors look over the side. They see Jason's mask get popped off, revealing the paramedic from the beginning of the movie. Spoiler warning, sorry. If you ain't seen this movie, then oh my goodness. After searching his wallet, we find out that it's the paramedic, and he is also the father to the resident who got axed at the beginning of the film by suicide. Let's get this straight. If you bring this conversation up to, or try to have this conversation with a Friday the 13th fan, like one of them true diehard in the Facebook group fans, you know what I'm saying? If you have a conversation with them, they will praise the Friday series up and down. But when you talk about 5, they're like, oh, fuck that movie. Like, oh, for real? Fuck that movie for real? No, that movie is a good movie. I consider Part 5 to be a good movie. I mean, it ain't gonna win no Academy Awards. Don't get it twisted. It's not even gonna win any MTV Movie Awards, you know? But it kept my attention. It kept me invested. Did I like all of the characters in the movie? No, I really wasn't introduced to them. They were fodder. I knew they were fodder. But it was entertaining from beginning to end. I wondered from the beginning of the movie, you know, it starts with little Corey Feldman in a flashback of Jason. But then it quickly goes, it changes, and we are introduced to teenage Tommy now. And it's like, whoa, who the fuck is this dude? Like, the movie has me. What's going on? Why isn't it Corey Feldman? And I mean, at the time, I don't think Corey Feldman would have been the age that they wanted in the movie, so it makes sense now. But neither here nor there. You know, I'm getting off the beaten path. Fans lose their fucking mind whenever you talk about 5. It's like, okay, what wasn't good about the movie? I mean, the climax was good. The finale, you know, how Jason, quote unquote, dies in the movie. I applaud it. It was a good effort. It was better than Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell. Those two movies, number 5 is better than those. And the only reason why true diehard fans of horror and of the Friday franchise kind of diss 5 is because that mask popped off at the end. Roy was revealed. If they would have made the decision not to make the mask pop off and we would have just like faded off into the next day in the transition, y'all would have been ranking this movie up with Part 6. For real. Jason was super intense in this movie. More intense than Pamela Voorhees in the first movie. I don't know why we even put the first movie in the top 5. I think it's nostalgia and what it represented for the horror genre, but me personally, nah. I don't start watching until the Tommy Jarvis saga. Part 1 and Part 2 is kind of to me, but we're getting off the beaten path, and I'm gonna have people hitting me up in the comments section and just, oh my God, you don't like Jason? I love Jason. I do. I love the concept of him, but I just don't think Part 1 worked for me, and Part 2 is just, okay. All right. And Part 3 is, okay. Part 4 is where it starts to get interesting, where I start getting invested because it's a family. Like, yeah, you know, camp is about to open. Jason strikes before camp even opens. The only time that they had campers in the fucking movie was Part 6. And I like 6. Like Camp Crystal Lake. You're killing all these counselors that aren't at camp. They're just like at, you know, they're at holiday. You know, they're on vacation. But I fucking digress. You know, guys, I'm gonna digress, you know. This is very near and dear to my heart. But let's fast forward to Halloween Ends. All Halloween fans were pissed that Corey Cunningham was doing the majority of the killing while Michael Myers sat back and only killed a couple people. Fans were mad that it wasn't Michael doing the killing. Honestly, the first Halloween, not the 1978 Halloween, but was it 78 or 79? Let's fact check that. 1978, I was correct. Points for me. I better know that. What the fuck? Yeah. I'm not talking about the 78 version. I'm talking about the Blumhouse version. Halloween started out dope. It erased 2 on. Okay, I can dig it. I can dig it. They told the story of Laurie Strode surviving Michael Myers, but getting herself ready for the next encounter because she knew the next encounter would come. It had been, what was it, 40 years was the time span? Yeah, I think it was 40 years. Let's see. What was the time span between Halloween and Halloween? I'm figuring out how to fucking word this. 2018. 40 years. Bam. Right again, motherfuckers. Yeah. Pat myself on the fucking back. I was right. Damn it. 2 in a row. Let's go. But Halloween 2018. I thought the story was so dope. The fact that they're transporting him again and the transport van, you know, we see a wreck, but we find out that it's sabotaged. And here we are again with this man. What is his motive? What is his motivation? You know, is it just to stand in that fucking window? But he's on his way back. And while on his way back, he goes on a super killing spree. That's the Michael that I'm used to. Hell yeah. They capturing him well. Climax, and he is in the house while it burns and they escape in the truck. Dope. Halloween Kills. It picked up on that same night. I love continuation. If you're gonna be a sequel, continue from where you left off. Or give us a recap. I think Friday the 13th 7 gave us a recap, if I'm not mistaken. Fact check me on that. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments. If I'm right, I'm gonna give myself bring next time we talk. But the continuation of Halloween into Halloween Kills, I loved it. And Michael, smart as fuck. This movie gonna be no joke with the guitar riffs at the beginning while Michael's doing his thing. It's like, oh, this movie is going to be intense. And it was. For the most part, Halloween Kills was intense. There was a part where I really couldn't suspend my belief so far. You know what I'm saying? There came a part in Halloween Kills where I was just like, come on now. I thought we were doing this whole revamp of the franchise to make him more human, make him, you know, not fucking He-Man. Oh my God, at the end of that movie, it was like he took all those blows, hits with 2x4s, fucking sledgehammers, fucking, what else they had? They had, one had a gun, one had a knife, one of them had a crowbar, and they were waxing Mike's ass. They were beating the shit out of Michael Myers. And then he got a fucking power-up mushroom from somewhere and just demolished the whole mob. How does that work? And the only explanation that I get for it is Laurie Strode talking about transcending. What? What? Transcending? What? Come on now. Transcending my ass. Now there's something supernatural going on here, and I thought we weren't gonna take that fucking route. You didn't even have to give an explanation why he was doing what he was doing. We know him as an unstoppable killer. The only way you're gonna kill him is if you chop his fucking head off, or if you do what you did in Halloween Ends. Let's get to Halloween Ends. You know, I started saying some of the plot about Corey Cunningham doing the majority of the killing while Michael sat back and only killed a couple people. In that movie, there's this part in the movie where people always talk about it. They always talk about Michael transferring his evil to Corey. Whenever Corey was in the fucking turtle den down there in the sewer and he came across Mike, or Mike came across him, fucking yoked him up from the crack in the wall, people say that he transferred his power. And I got a different take on that. I think my take is he didn't transfer power to Corey Cunningham. He looked in Corey Cunningham's eyes. He was able to see the hurt, the pain, being made the villain, the vilification, and if that's a word. Let me know if that's a word in the comments below. But to be made the villain of Haddonfield, it didn't have to be Michael Myers, who is old and decrepit and can barely get around. He is struggling to kill now. He sees that there's another, and that the legacy of the Shape will live on. Not Michael Myers. Michael Myers is a name. That's something that we gotta get away from. As fans of the series, we want to see Michael Myers. You know, we stopped going for the protagonist and fought for the antagonist. We want to see what Michael Myers is gonna do next. It's not about Michael. It's about the Shape. That's why his name is the Shape. Because anybody can take on that shape. The evil can be within another person than Corey Cunningham. The only thing that it needs is a little push, as the Joker said. And I bet y'all think I'm reading the script. Nah, that's coming off the dome, boy. All right, so now let's talk about the Scream franchise. Actually, first, before we talk about the Scream franchise, I want to compare Friday and Halloween. In both movies, the killer is somebody different than you expect it to be. The killer is somebody completely different. We expect it to be Jason Voorhees, but in return, it was Roy Burns. We expect it to be Michael Myers, but in return, it's Corey Cunningham. Now let's fast forward to the Scream franchise. In each one of the Scream films, not one killer survived to torment the heroine in the next sequel. In each movie, there is a new killer after the surviving cast of the previous. When the killer is revealed, we are okay with it being someone new. This way the franchise can continue as long as they want it to. If we were to get behind that when it came to Halloween and allow Corey Cunningham to take the form of the Shape, because when he was killing with Michael's mask on, tell me he didn't look like Michael. And I mean, of course, you know, if you have sequels in this type of universe or timeline, then some people are gonna think of it as Michael Myers and others gonna know it. No, it's Corey. You know, it was a great concept, but the franchise can live on if the name can live on. Scream shows that. We celebrate the franchise as a whodunit. Scream. We forget that Halloween was supposed to be an anthology. The only reason why we got warmed up to Michael Myers is because he went on to be in the second movie. Now fans clamor to see more Michael. We go to these Scream movies to see who the killer is gonna be. We know it's Ghostface, but who's behind the mask? Why isn't that same logic given to Jason Voorhees, given to even Leatherface, Pinhead, and the remake of Hellraiser was bomb. I love that shit. I love the fact that they cast a woman to be Pinhead. She looked good in the role. She played the role to a T. Yeah, that was my shit. But anyway, it's about the essence of the character. I mean, somebody like Freddy Krueger, you couldn't do that with. I mean, you could have another person charged and wrongfully convicted or let off on the charges or whatever. You can have somebody do that and they burn him. Yeah, and his name be Patrick. You know, he's still doing the same thing that Freddy Krueger did. You can have somebody go on a killing spree and put on the Michael Myers mask and stab people with butcher knives, stab babysitters with butcher knives, and everybody's gonna think of it as Michael Myers. You can have these movies live on if you just allow them to take on the Scream type of plot. Who done it? Why are we okay with Scream having different killers, but we're not okay with Halloween and Friday the 13th having different killers, but killing in the name of Jason or Michael? All these different motherfuckers in the Scream franchise kill in the name of Ghostface. They use Ghostface as, you know, that statue, that urban legend, really, and different people bring it to life to torment the survivors of the previous movie. What's stopping, like in the remake of Friday the 13th, what is stopping somebody that is a crazy motherfucker up in the woods by a lake that has a crop of weed, and if you come near his weed and shit, he kills you? What's stopping that from actually, happening? Just think about that shit, for real. That could actually happen. But I'm getting off on another tangent, for real. That could be a topic of another episode, for real, because that really, that makes my fucking brain tingle. But for real, in this video, do you see the hypocrisy? Do you see the fact that somebody donning the mask and the moniker of Jason Voorhees, and we finding out that it's somebody else, that it just pisses fans off? You see the fact that when we take off the mask, it's Corey Cunningham instead of Michael Myers? But we can't grasp with the fact that those killers can change, but we can grasp with the fact that Ghostface can change. Ghostface can change more than once in one movie. Damn. Fans were pissed that Corey Cunningham was taking up the mantle of Michael Myers while the real Michael Myers suffered from old age. I don't give a fuck how much you transcend. One thing we fail to realize is that time gets all. We fail to realize Jason continues to rot. There is no way in hell. They tried to give him the little plot armor of being able to regenerate in Jason X. They tried to throw that in there just so that Jason could live on forever. But in all actuality, through the movies, Jason continued to rot, meaning that time was getting his ass. We can't continue with the same killer because time kills all. We can't follow Laurie Strode 40 years later while Michael Myers stays young and strong. From Friday the 13th 2 to Jason X, Jason's body continued to decay. At some point, there's not gonna be any flesh or muscle left to rot. He's just gonna be a skeleton with a hockey mask and a machete. Do you see the little hypocrisy in that? What if we as fans allowed that to happen? What if we allowed somebody to take on the role of Jason? And it's like, oh shit, who's behind the mask this time? What's the motive this time? Like, there's this YouTube movie. I can't even call it a YouTube movie because it was shot so well. Friday the 13th Vengeance 1 and 2. Man, I was shocked by that fucking movie. And I mean, yes, it was a rotted Jason, don't get it twisted, but Friday the 13th Vengeance, that really brought it back to like lethal Jason, like part 6, but with an attitude ass Jason. And I liked it, man. If I'll put that in the description so you guys can check it out if you haven't checked it out. Yo, man, I'm gonna do a whole separate episode on Friday the 13th Vengeance 1 and 2. I want Rick to watch it so he can join me on this motherfucker so that we could talk about it, because we are horror fans, but we are Friday fans kind of from 4 on. Like I told you before, 1, 2, and 3, not for me. Yeah, man. I don't mean to call anybody hypocrite in the Splatterverse. I don't mean to call anybody hypocrites that's watching this video. I'm just asking a question, like, do we have a double standard for some horror films? And I feel that our rejection of Corey Cunningham taking on the mantle of Michael Myers, or Roy Burns taking on the mantle of Jason Voorhees, is not allowed, but fucking Dewey could have been Ghostface. And we would have been like, oh my God, Dewey's Ghostface. Or Sydney come back and be Ghostface. See, that's what I wanted. That is exactly what I wanted. I was hoping that Nev Campbell was holding out so it would be a super shock that she would have been revealed as the killer. Like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna kill everybody that Ghostface ever fucked with so that this shit can just be put to bed. I would have loved that. I would have loved Who else being the killer? Let's see. I would have loved if Stu came back, to tell you the God's honest truth. Like in this movie had me on the edge of my seat. Well, Scream 6. Let me be more specific. Scream 6 had me on the edge of my fucking seat from start to third act. When we started realizing, like, yep, they're the killers. Damn. Now we got to see what the damn motive is. And when all the killers were revealed, I'm not gonna really go into spoiler territory. It deflated the movie for me. It truly did. It just like, really? That's the motive? Are you kidding me? Like, that motive is super weak. That motive is like the writers had written a movie, but it had a completely different third act. And because a person didn't act in the movie, refused to act in the movie, they had to make a third act up on the fly. That's my take. Because the third act is just so underwhelming. It's like, why? And guys, honestly, I really do want to do a video on that. I want to do maybe a episode just ranting about Scream 6. I mean, it's a good movie. It's okay. It's okay. The first 2 acts were really good. Then it fell off a cliff. It's like, this is the quickest dumpster fire I've ever seen. It went up in flames, like, woof, like it just went up. I was like, go. Oh, really? Yeah, I think I am gonna do an episode of them Splatter Talk boys talking about Scream 6 because I have some opinions about this movie, and I want to share them with you guys. So if you guys want, in the comment section, go ahead and say, yeah, Jay, give us that Scream, bro. I will hook you up. Saturday, we will have the release of another commentary, being Return of the Living Dead. If YouTube is good to me, they will allow us to share this with our Splatter Heads. And if you are not a Splatter Head, I highly suggest, if you like this content or anything horror, just hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel, because without you guys, we go nowhere. We just make commentary that's on the internet. With you, we'll be able to make content on the internet to a lot more people. All right? So if you know somebody that knows horror, that loves horror, go ahead and share this content with them. Let them suffer with you. And if you are a returning Splatterhead, thank you guys. We can't do it without you. And also, remember, we're doing trivia. So if you want to be in trivia, be subscribed to Splatter Talk Cinema on YouTube while following us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Give us a comment. Let us know that you want to be in horror trivia, and we will get you on an episode. So let us know. I know my girl Bree says she want to be on an episode, so I think I'm going to get on here and test her horror knowledge. Bree, if you're listening to this, be ready. And for everybody else, be ready. We got good prizes. I'm gonna be going to this HorrorCon Thursday, and I'm gonna try and bring you guys some coverage of it as it's happening. You know what I'm saying? And for those that know, and for those that don't know, I'm going to be cosplaying for the first time, so we are going to be covering that and having that on the YouTube channel. So make sure you're following us on youtube.com/Splatter Talk Cinema Reviews. And yeah, it's going to be dope. I hope you like this episode. I love this episode. You guys are not hypocrites, but we just need to open our minds a little bit more to the possibility of other people doing the killing and kind of burying names. You know what I'm saying? Because if Roy's mask wouldn't have popped off, that would have been a great movie. That's my time. This is your boy Jay. Splatter Talk Cinema Review, them Splatter Talk boys. It's a wrap.
Would you lead me to my doom? Yeah.